Good evening, and thank you for joining us. A barrister representing the government at the Wanfu Court's public hearing says private stakeholders should take a primary responsibility for the Taipo fire. The statement is made during the closing submission of the independent committee's hearing investigating the Taipo fire. The Mo Singai reports.
The second day of the closing submission hearing resumes at Central City Gallery. Zhang Qinsun, the senior counsel representing the government, begins his closing address. Sun says the government shows determination in uncovering the truth through multiple aspects, including the submission of over 1 million documents to the committee. Sun stresses that the fire is caused by direct and indirect factors, which the committee should not overlook when drawing up its report. He says the government's role lies in supervision, whereas owners and professionals, such as contractors, carry the main responsibility. Sun states that the decision to appoint Prestige and Willpower as the contractor and consultant for Wanfu Court's renovation rests with the owners and has nothing to do with the government bureaus. The barrister says that the public cannot rely on authorities to interfere with everything, and instead, stakeholders need to act with discipline. In his address, Sun lists 6 contributing factors that accelerate the spread of the blaze, including non-fire retardant scaffolding mesh and ineffective fire services equipment. Speaking of the mesh, Sun says it was not negligence, but describes it as an organized, planned act of Prestige, who compromises the safety of hundreds of residents just because of lower costs. He says Prestige implemented deliberate acts to deceive regulatory authorities. As to what areas of improvement the government can make, Sun says a disciplinary mechanism cannot guard against collaborative deception. But he says that cross-department communication can be enhanced, which requires a more suitable mechanism. Sun notes the government has implemented some improvement measures after the fire. That includes tightened regulations on fire service installation shutdown notices. Jeffrey Tam, the barrister representing Wanfu Court residents, says many of his clients are annoyed by some stakeholders seen as shifting responsibility, but Tam says they hope the committee will uncover the truth. Mamos 9, TVB News.
Hong Kong has completed the legislative process to regulate ride-hailing services, with the Transport Department poised to launch a dedicated online portal for platforms and drivers to apply for licenses. After the legislation takes effect in August next year, the government will also step up enforcement against illegal ride-hailing with tougher measures in place.
Under the new framework, ride-hailing platforms, drivers and vehicles will all require registrations, with a cap set at 10,000 vehicle licenses for now.
I have reservations about the number of permits being capped at 10,000 because from the market's perspective, there is a very keen demand and short of supply.
10,000. I think that this is a cautious number. It has struck a balance between the road capacity, public transport ecosystem, and the demand of passengers.
There will be a smart regulatory system to monitor ride-hailing platforms. We will not just rely on manual law enforcement. We must keep up with technological developments, and that means we establish an information management system and an e-communication channel that can dovetail different platforms.
The transport chief also said preparatory work for the licensing regime began this quarter, and it includes baseline study to assess demand for the ride-hailing services in Hong Kong.
The legislation will take full effect on August 22nd next year, when all platforms must be licensed and comply with driver vetting requirements. On that same day, authorities will step up enforcement against illegal ride-hailing by introducing measures including the impoundment of vehicles involved in unauthorized passenger services. Starting this Friday, the Transport Department will launch a dedicated ride-hailing portal, providing guidance for operators, drivers, and platforms on the new licensing regime. Applications are expected to open as early as next month, with driver applications to follow in the fourth quarter.
The blanket ban on smoking at Hong Kong's construction sites is set to take effect starting tomorrow. This as the city's construction association has rolled out guidelines for site workers on the measure and will install high-tech monitoring systems across building sites to enforce the anti-smoking policy. Timothy Lee has more.
As the city takes its latest step to end smoking at construction sites, workers at this Kai-Tech site under the Hong Kong Housing Society are mandated to place personal items, including cigarettes and lighters, in lockers located outside the workplace. This worker said he could only retrieve his items after work, adding that he was searched before he entered the construction site. Under the latest smoking ban, offenders will be subject to a fine of $3,000. This man said the measure has a deterrence effect and urged his fellow workers not to smoke as it could lead to fire hazards. The law also requires contractors to take necessary steps to ensure the smoking ban is enforced, with offenders facing a maximum fine of $400,000. Meanwhile, the Hong Kong Construction Association rolled out a series of guidelines pertaining to the measure. They suggested that contractors must set clear boundaries for the smoking ban on construction sites, emphasizing that storage areas containing fuel and other dangerous items must be monitored by CCTVs or other high-tech devices. The association further said contractors can implement a score system to deduct points from workers or order them to leave the premises if they fail to adhere to the ban.
Lots of our construction sites have already prohibited for smoking. So it's not a new thing to workers. So I think there won't be a big change to all of our members to implement this guideline in the coming few weeks.
Members of the Hong Kong Construction Association stressed the smoking ban does not target workers, as the same restrictions apply to contractors who commit smoking offenses at construction sites. Many members who are smokers themselves support the measure in hopes of not endangering the health and safety of workers at the workplace. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Police have cracked down on a syndicate suspected of using a beauty center to defraud medical insurance, arresting 14 people, including 2 registered doctors. One of the doctors is linked to an earlier crash for cash fraud case. Celine Chan has more.
Multiple mobile phones, computers and related documents were seized during the operation. Those arrested include staff from the beauty center, doctors, insurance agents and claimants. They are suspected of conspiring to defraud insurance companies between last October and November, involving 9 false medical insurance claims amounting to about $114,000. The police said the syndicate used a beauty center to arrange for customers to receive cosmetic procedures like skin booster injections, which are not covered by their insurance policies, then falsely present these as insured medical treatments like wart removal to claim medical insurance payouts. The beauty center in question had submitted about 200 insurance claims to various insurers, totaling over $2 million. The authorities are investigating whether more suspicious claims are involved.
Police
said an arrested registered doctor is linked to an earlier crash for cash insurance scam involving car accidents. They will keep looking into whether the 2 groups are in cahoots.
The police said they will keep collaborating with the insurance sector to investigate and crack down on insurance fraud and urge the public not to break the law. Celine Chan, TVB News.
Toronto's air quality ranked the worst among major cities globally Wednesday. This as wildfire smoke from northwestern Ontario blackened skies and spread into the northeastern United States, prompting health warnings and calls for residents to limit outdoor activities. Tracy Furness has more.
Toronto's smoky skyline Wednesday. Smoke from wildfires blanketed the city, creating hazy skies and prompting health concerns as residents face poor air quality.
This is kind of like the earth smoking a cigarette, and we're getting the secondhand smoke from it.
Unperturbed, people were seen spending time outdoors in parks, while others wore masks amid the smoky conditions.
Those particles are going to contain a whole sort of soup of different chemicals and compounds.
Environment Canada reported an air quality health index reading of 10+, classified as very high risk for Toronto, while forecasts suggest hazardous conditions could persist through Thursday night. Meanwhile, Ontario Provincial Police said wildfires are affecting railway operations near Armstrong, Ontario. Footage of a Canadian train crew surrounded by thick flames was posted on social media by Ontario Parliament member Saul Mamakwa. He said the crew members are safe. Officials said shortly before 6 p.m. Eastern Time Monday, 3 trains carrying combustible and flammable materials were stopped about 32 kilometres from Armstrong. More than 100 wildfires are currently burning in Canada, with winds carrying the smoke southeast. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Welcome back. China is now viewed more favorably than the U.S. in 25 out of 36 countries, according to a new Pew Research Center survey. Pew polled more than 42,000 people in those countries between February and May of this year. Apart from countries that are traditionally friendly with China, like Pakistan and Malaysia, a number of Western countries now also see China more favorably, including Spain, Italy, and Greece. In Canada, approximately 33% of people view the U.S. positively now, compared with 57% in 2023. Meanwhile, Canada's positive view of China rose from 14% to 44% during that same time period. The U.S. is still viewed more favorably in 6 countries, which include Israel, India, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and Poland. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that he was leaving the United Kingdom in better shape than I found it, as he fielded questions, criticism, and even a bit of praise from lawmakers in the House of Commons for the last time on Wednesday.
Every Prime Minister knows when they take up the torch that the day will come when they have to pass it on. That day has come for me. This is the end of my political journey. In 6 years, went from historic defeat in 2019 to historic victory in 2024. And in 2 years in government, I leave the country in better shape than I found it. I am proud of everything that we have achieved. To all those in the gallery whose lives have been changed or improved by this Labour government, and all across the country who struggle to be seen or heard, you're the reason I came into politics. To my wife and children, I love you. Goodbye. Prime Minister, that's meeting President Zelensky.
During Prime Minister's questions, Starmer said he was proud of his government's domestic policy achievements, including stronger protections for working people, a reduction in child poverty, a law designed to stop official cover-ups after tragedies, and higher defense spending. This year's World Artificial Intelligence Conference to open in Shanghai on Friday. We'll see about 60 humanoid robots assisting on-site services, evolving from mere exhibits into volunteers. Alina Wang has more.
Humanoid robots will serve as official volunteers at the upcoming 2026 World Artificial Intelligence Conference. The event, themed AI Partnership for a Brighter Future, will see around 60 robots stationed across the conference venue. They're set to support public services, including handling on-site visitor inquiries and providing guided tours. The robot's ability is driven by the advancement in contextual large models over the past year, allowing these humanoids to go from merely being exhibits to now being put to work. They're also programmed to self-charge. Developers say they can be fully set up in just 2 minutes with a 10-hour battery life that supports a full day of service. The conference will open in Shanghai on Friday, and this marks the first large-scale deployment of such robots at a major exhibition. Alina Wang, TVB News.
As the government sets out the city's own 5-year plan, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury Christopher Hui says Hong Kong and Shanghai are at different stages of development as international financial centers and are complementary in their roles.
The National 15th Five-Year Plan has designated both Hong Kong and Shanghai as international financial centers, sparking debates over how the two cities should divvy up their functions and roles. Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury Christopher Hui says the two financial hubs are already collaborating, describing the relationship as beneficial with no downside. He adds that Hong Kong can help mainland companies, including those based in Shanghai, expand overseas through its international financial platform.
國家定位邊好清晰嘅
He says the national positioning is very clear. Hong Kong is to consolidate its role as an international financial center, while Shanghai is building one. Hui says the two cities are at different stages of development and their roles complement each other, citing the gold market as an example. Hui says Hong Kong has never been afraid of competition and the key is to identify new engines of growth.
Responding to
Beijing's recent crackdown on illegal outbound investment and whether it could dampen trade sentiment towards Hong Kong, Hui says stronger regulations and enforcement would instead reinforce the city's long-term financial stability with greater clarity and confidence in the operating environment. Reflecting on his more than 6 years helming the bureau across 2 administrative terms, Hui says Hong Kong's next phase of development should focus on building a more diversified financial ecosystem, spanning equities, bonds, commodities, and other asset classes, while supporting the internationalization of the yuan and enhancing the competitiveness of the city's financial markets across the entire value chain.
Hong Kong's first electric vehicle battery recycling facility held its opening ceremony today, ending the city's reliance on overseas disposal. It is expected to process 10,000 tons of EV battery packs annually from around 20,000 cars. Hiba Khan was there.
Located in Tuen Mun Eco Park, the 100,000 square foot plant by Envision Greenwise will utilize automated technology to transform retired electric vehicle batteries into black mass. Black mass is a metal-rich fine powder containing high amounts of critical minerals, such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel, which can be used in the making of new EV batteries.
All the black mass will be sent to the battery manufacturer, and then it can directly to retrieve all the material. It's better to mining of the coal, and so that's why this is very environment friendly to for the black mass to retrieve, and then after that we will send back to the China.
The company aims to provide a localized and fully traceable closed-loop solution to EV battery recycling. The city no longer needs to export its retired batteries to Japan and South Korea, which was quite costly and caused more carbon emissions. In a video address at the ceremony, Chief Executive John Lee said that the plant creates a new driving force for Hong Kong's green economic development. Secretary for Environment and Ecology Jie Chin-wan said that there are currently over 170,000 EVs in Hong Kong, and it is believed that the facility will promote the development of green technology in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area as EVs become more widespread. As the city marks a shift from a consumer to a circular economy hub for the green transport industry, representatives believe this facility will provide a high-value and safe way to recycle batteries. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
Nearly 200 students and teachers from Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau took part in a 4-day Greater Bay Area Youth CPPCC simulation program. Supported by the Education Bureau and the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau, the event invited 20 schools from Guangdong and the 2 SARs to engage in simulated political discussions as they presented proposals in the format of the national consultative process.
It's very inspiring because I think it's like a discussion we can freely talk about different topics about such as technology and science and culture.
For an example is that we're currently going through where how elderlies are not getting well enough homes and not having good enough living space. And through one of the group's project, they aim to resolve this issue.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.